Hello, my name is Brianna Hansen and welcome to my presentation on image size and compression. To start off, I would like to define what those two terms mean. Image size is the width and height of an image in pixels, and image compression refers to the kilobyte file size of an image and compressing that file down to as small as we can get it while still having a good image on the page. So let's talk a little bit about image size first and how that can affect user experience. This is the BYU Idaho homepage that we are on. How's your user experience so far? Have you noticed a few things that are off? Let's talk about them. So this first image right here, the Ready to Belong, you can see that the individual is elongated vertically and that the height is too high to be correct proportions to the width. In this trio down here, we can see, particularly in this left-hand video here, that the graduate picture is squished and the width is too wide for the height proportions. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we can see that that picture is so small that we don't even know what it is. We can see the bits of color, but we can't define what's in it. And then our last image we're going to discuss is over here on the right with Ready to Belong. And this image, the size is large enough that it spills outside of the content and border box and even spills across the main area of the page. So this image is too large for where it's needed. So obviously I have gone through and changed a few of the dimensions on this page to give you an example of what a poorly sized image can do to a website and how it affects the user experience. Having properly sized images will have a positive user experience for your visitors. Let's go ahead and refresh this page. Okay, so as we can see, the images are back to the size they were originally designed for the layout. So we can see this individual here is no longer stretched, and neither is the graduate, that they are both proportioned for the height and width and provide a good picture. In this bottom picture down here at the left, we can now tell that this is a musical performance. And on the right, this image now fits in with the constraints of the border box and inside the main area. So this is an example of how images are properly sized for a web page to give a good user experience. Okay, another reason we want to have good sized images is for load time. Let's go ahead and load the usertesting.com page. Watch how long it takes to load. Did you see how it slowly loaded this picture right here? Let's go down and scroll and see how many images there are. Here's another image. Here's another image. We have a few more smaller images here. And then lastly, down here, we have 5 images that are together in the Learn More section. So this page obviously takes longer to load than it should and provides a somewhat poor user experience in the fact that it has to be waited for it to load. And even normally this page loads slower than it did just now, but I have loaded it a few times apparently. So, okay, let's go ahead and look at this one with the project manager's guide. So this image takes up about a third of the main area. But if we go and click on Open Image in New Tab with our mouse, and we go up here and look at this image, we can see that it's considerably larger than what they actually need. So this is a consistent problem on this website that each of these images are larger than they need to be. Let's go ahead and go look at another one. So this image right here of the world takes up again about a third of the width. Let's go ahead and look at it. We right click, we click on Open Image in New Tab, and let's look at that image. So we can see that this image is very much larger than what they need. It almost takes up the entire height of the screen. And it's very close to taking up the entire width of the borders for the margin area. So this image is one that could be scaled down and would make a faster load time, along with all of the images on this page. So this is an example of how having your images larger than you need them in size will affect your load time. So let's talk a little bit about how you can make sure your images are the correct size and how we can scale those. There are two programs I like to use. The first is GIMP. Let's talk about that one. This is one you can download onto your computer. It's a free open source image editor and allows you to manipulate images. Let's go ahead and go over to that. So I already have this downloaded onto my computer, and I'm going to show you how we can scale images and make them the appropriate size. So I already have one loaded. This image right here is about 2,500 pixels. And to load an image, you would go to File and then just Open to load it and select one you want. So let's go ahead and make this about half of what it currently is. So in GIMP, to scale an image, you're going to go to Image, and then you're going to go down here to Scale Image. Now this is something that is important to pay attention to when you're resizing images. If you change the width, you want to change the height proportionally. If you only change the width and not the height, then that is how you can wind up with squished or stretched images. So let's go ahead and change this to 1,200 pixels. And then you'll see this height in pixels right here will automatically adjust. Okay, so we see that's adjusted. Let's go ahead and click Scale, and our image is now scaled down for what we are wanting as a banner on a web page, for example. So that is an example of how you can scale an image to be resized appropriately. So now let's talk about if we want to crop or change an image. So that can be done over here under Tools, and you go to Selection Tools and go to Rectangle Select. So this would be something you would use if, for example, you found an image you wanted, but it was too wide for what you were needing. Then you can go ahead and just crop it down. So let's go ahead and let's do about half the picture here. And then we've selected it and have a box. So to crop that, we go to Image, and we go to Crop to Selection. And now we have a new image that is much smaller, that could fit in an article or fit in a section of the page. So let's go ahead and show you how to export these images now. So we go to File, and then we go down to Export As. We don't want to do Save As, we want to do Export As. And then we see that this pulls up the folder the files came from, and it gives you the option to rename it. So we're just going to go ahead and change this to Sunny Day Banner. Okay, and you can see that originally the file size was 387 kilobytes. Let's go ahead and export that file. Okay, now this is where it gives you the option to change the compression and the quality on it. So say we want to do 70%, which will still give us a good quality image, but not take up as much space as one that was at 92%. And then all we'd have to do is click Export. Okay, so let's go over here to File, let's go to Open, and then we can see that our new file size is 48 kilobytes versus 387 kilobytes. So that is an example of how you can resize the image and compress the image in GIMP. Let's go look at another tool now. So this is one I like to use that's online. It's called PicResize, and this is something you could use if you're not on your own computer but need to resize some images and are working online. So this is very easy to use. We just go down here to click Browse. Again, let's use our Sunny banner, and then we just click Open. The next step is to click Continue. So in this, it brings up our original picture and it gives us a few options. We now have the option, if we want to crop and rotate the picture. I'm going to go ahead and leave that for now. Or we have the option to resize your picture. So let's go ahead and resize our picture. So let's say we want it to be 50% smaller than what it currently is. We can go ahead and click 50% smaller, and that will change the numbers for us over here on the side. We can see our estimated final size will be 1260 by 344 versus 2520 by 688 pixels. If we want a custom size, we can simply go over here to custom size. Let's do the 1200 again. And you'll see that it will automatically calculate the height for us. So 1200 by 328. Okay, then next we can choose a special effect. We're not needing that today. And then we can click Save As. The JPEG quality is where it gives you the option to change the quality of your picture. Generally, I do the better just because it's still takes down the file size, but it makes sure you have a good image too. So let's just go ahead and click that. If you want to, you can put in a max file size and it will change the image to match that. Let's go hit I'm done and resize my picture. Okay, so we can see that now the original image was 2,520 and 688. It was 378 kilobytes. And now it is 130 kilobytes. So we've knocked off about 240 kilobytes of file size just by scaling that picture down to what we needed and compressing the file a little bit. So to save this, you can just click Save to Disk, and it will show up, at least in Chrome, down here in the bottom. And then you have the option to click it and open. And here's our new file size that can then be selected and saved. So these are just a few ways of how you can resize and change a picture so you can wind up with good quality images on your page, such as on the BYU Idaho page, with a good load time that will provide your visitors with a positive user experience. Thank you for watching.